Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 55 through 57 of YanXi Palace. The emperor is truly done with Yingluo this time, and she knows it. She dismisses all of her servants with severance pay. The only ones that stay are Yuan, Mingyu, and the servant that helped her take down Jia Tu. Admittedly, because everyone knows he betrayed his old master and no one else would want him. Also, Zhenju. Aww. Yingluo tells Yuan to accompany her to see the empress and congratulate her on a job well done. She's got her absolutely beat, and she did it with her most trusted companion.
说的这些话，本宫真是越来越糊涂了。他
Other than Dr. Ye, he was the only other person who knew about the tonic, the only person who could have betrayed her to the empress. Also, and she couldn't know this yet, but he was the one who gave Ye the idea of selling the old herbs, leading to the scandal and investigation. She turns to Yuan, admitting that he really did have her fooled. She completely trusted him.
痛吧，愤怒吧，跟我当初知道你要出圆明园入宫为妃时一模一样。
I can't say I didn't see it coming, but my heart is broken. I guess Yuan really did mean it when he said their relationship would be over if she left. He never even considered forgiving her, and only came back to enact his revenge. The empress has promised to promote him and take care of his career going forward, so with that, there's no more need to pretend. Yingluo kneels, telling the empress that she doesn't regret a thing. She was able to avenge her beloved sister. Whatever sacrifices she had to make to get here were worth it. In short, well played and good luck in the future.
你是本宫生平所见最有风度的输家，你也是臣妾见过最有耐心的猎人。
I love these two so much. Now that it looks like Yingluo is really down for good, the other women start to finally vent some of their long-held resentment. Even the servants aren't safe. But with the majority of the staff gone, they become more of a close-knit family. They try to protect and rely on each other. Add Hailan Cha to the family as well. He even tries to bring Yingluo's woes up to the emperor to disastrous results.
罚俸1年。
Now, of course, Yingluo doesn't take any abuse sitting down, and luckily, she still outranks Shu at least.
本宫再落魄，位分也远在你之上。下次再敢僭越，就不是一巴掌这么简单。
I mean, favored or not, Yingluo is still Yingluo. What's really keeping her safe though is her relationship with the Empress Dowager, who does like her but also protects her as she worries that the Empress has far too much power with no one who can challenge her. Remember, the Empress has all but publicly accused the Empress Dowager of killing her father. Their relationship will forever be strained, to say the least. Meanwhile, Yuan is doing well as the new head of the household department and even manages to get his hands on a juicy secret. He reports to the Empress with a letter from the Emperor's old nanny. Delighted, but always careful, Shen hides the letter in a place where she knows Hongzhou will come across it without realizing it's from her. It's big news, and Hongzhou goes to see the Emperor immediately to show him the letter. The letter says that his birth mother isn't actually the Empress Dowager, and that the Empress Dowager had his mother killed to secure her position.
狂悖之言。
Right away, the Emperor goes to see the Empress Dowager, which is kinda crazy to me. All it took was one letter of unknown veracity, and he's questioning his whole existence. And crazier still, it turns out to be true. Yingluo is in the other room and overhears as the Empress Dowager admits that she's not his biological mother. His mother was only a maid, later promoted and now called Madame Chen. What happened was, even before he was born, his fortune said he would grow up to be an extraordinary man, but that potential could never be realized with such a mother.
如果你由前世抚养，必定妨碍你的命格，所以你一生下来就把你抱到了我那里。
She says his biological mother died just a few years after he was born, and all these years she's treated him just like her own flesh and blood. She asks him to search his heart, and you can tell he knows this to be true. Still, the reveal has him shaken to his core. The Empress Dowager says someone must have put this letter out to estrange them, and again, that might be true, but it doesn't change how he's feeling.
儿臣先退下了。
Classic Shen scheme. Even when you know you're being manipulated, you just can't help but be pushed along with the current. The Emperor does some more digging into his birth mom and finds out that she had a brother, his uncle. He summons him to the palace, but on his way, this uncle falls off his horse and dies. The Emperor immediately assumes this was the Empress Dowager's doing, trying to stop him from reconnecting with his birth mom in any way. But it was actually the Empress. Yet another brilliant play because, of course, all this does is deepen his suspicions that the Empress Dowager is a dirty liar. Is the story really like the Empress Dowager said? Or is the letter right and he's been raised by his mother's killer? Amidst all of this stress, the Empress Dowager's health starts to fail her, but the Emperor won't visit. She's instead graced with a visit from our dear Empress.
那封信是你送到皇帝那儿的吧？
Okay, no dancing around it then. At first, Shen tries to keep up the mask, but when the Empress Dowager brings up her father, she reveals her true face. The Empress Dowager says there was nothing personal in killing her father, it was for the good of the country. But Shen won't hear it and makes it clear that this is only the beginning of her revenge. She will do everything in her power to estrange the mother and son and leave the Empress Dowager with nothing but her son's suspicions and growing resentment. Yingluo comes to the Empress Dowager's rescue, but Shen's smug smile says all there is to say. It's a perfect plan, and they both know there's nothing the Empress Dowager can do to counter it. Yingluo is searching desperately for a way out of this, and finally, an opportunity is presented in noble lady Qing. That's right, Shu's quiet sidekick who actually has quite a strong sense of justice. She doesn't speak much, but when she does, it's always to moderate Shu's temperament, as much as she can anyway. She's also quietly taking care of Mingyu and the Empress Dowager when she can. She meets with Yingluo late one night and explains that she has no choice but to follow Shu.
不是嫔妾不想学令妃年，只是嫔妾有父母兄弟，但这并不代表嫔妾没有心，不懂义。
Yingluo asks her if she would like to stop relying on powerful people and instead get some power for herself. When the emperor finally decides to visit the Empress Dowager's palace, he finds it empty. Only noble lady Qing is there with a book in her hands. The emperor dismisses the storybook, saying he wants to speak to his mother, but the usually timid Qing speaks up to explain that it's more than just a story.
谭其怀镇有位姓郭的美貌农妇。
The woman's husband had to leave and left his parents in her care. Unable to earn enough money on her own, the woman in the story ended up having to sell her body to keep her husband's parents from living on the streets. With the profits, she bought a young maiden as well. When her husband returned, she safely returned his parents to him, as well as the maiden as a new wife. Then she took a knife and killed herself. The emperor is not putting it together, so she has to spell it out for him.
当年山西大旱，前世夫人陪雍正爷私访。
The area was dangerous, and the two of them were separated from the guards and attacked by assassins. In order to save him, Madame Chen put on the emperor's clothes as a disguise and lured the men away. You can put together what happened after she was caught. Like the woman in the story, even though she had done nothing wrong, because of societal pressure, the only option for her was death. The Empress Dowager has been keeping this secret not to protect herself or her reputation, but because she didn't want the emperor to find out what happened to his biological mother. It's out in the open now though, and after investigating further, the emperor finds out it's even worse than he imagined. His mother did save his father, and she was assaulted, but they both made it back safely to the palace. It was his father, unable to keep an unchaste woman by his side, who ordered his mother killed. Finally, the emperor realizes far too late that the Empress Dowager was just trying to protect him from this horrible, horrible history. He rushes again to her palace, but she's already left with Yingluo. She plans to live out the rest of her days in Yuanming Garden. The emperor chases after her and is able to catch up with the procession. He kneels in apology, begging her to forgive him, but she won't even open the window.
皇上，请回吧。
That story was fucking harrowing, both the storybook one and the real history with his mother. Yingluo did well finding a way out of this, but they were lucky in this case that the Empress Dowager actually did have a good reason and wasn't just a mad baby snatcher. If this had been the truth, Shen would have hands down won once again. Shen actually shows quite a bit of hubris confronting the Empress Dowager like this. We know she lives for that last minute gloat, but in this case, the Empress Dowager hasn't actually been toppled. She still has a chance of recovery and she makes a very formidable enemy. But Shen has been so amazing these last few years that she's no doubt let it go to her head and is slowly beginning to take more reckless chances. She made such great use of Yuan, though to be fair, she also got lucky this time. He is not only the person Yingluo trusts the most, but also desperate to get revenge on her, and he's capable. I mean, what a perfect pawn that dropped right into your lap. And Yuan, are you happy now, dude? Did that fix what was broken inside? Of course not. I feel for Yuan, I do. I've said it before, I think Yingluo was wrong for the way she left, but Yuan's abandonment issues are the real problem here. He's obsessed with her, plain and simple. It's not healthy for so much of your happiness to be reliant on someone else staying with you, and that's not Yingluo's fault. Just as a character though, I still really like him. From his warped sense of view, I can totally see why he's acting like this. And I also have such a hard time divorcing his current state from the things that happened to him as a child. I mean, Yingluo doesn't know this, but to have to go back to the palace and watch Yingluo with another of his half-brothers right where he was when he was a child, I mean, that's traumatizing as hell. I would also want to just blow this whole place to smithereens. Finally, seeing more from Qing was also nice. Look at her finally getting a chance to shine. With Yingluo leaving, hopefully she'll get a few more tag flips. In fact, everyone can breathe a sigh of relief. The emperor is emotionally vulnerable and his bed is empty and ready for the taking. Just make sure to steer clear of the empress. Till next time, thanks for watching.